Welcome back to another episode of Breaking the Line. I'm Samuel.
And I'm Charleton.
And happy birthday, America. Well, a couple days from now.
Yeah. Happy 0.99%.
You got 2 days.
Battered birthday. Yeah.
But neither here nor there. I'm Samuel. Did we ever do that?
I'm Charleton.
Oh, yeah. Taking a deep dive into the arts of mime and acting, and how better to celebrate America's birthday than mime. Because fun fact, July 2nd was the day that the Declaration of Independence was actually finished.
Yeah, it's finished.
Mm-hmm. So everyone, I believe, signed it then, and it took 2 days because mail was very slow then, Now you can order. I literally last night ordered things from Amazon, and it showed up on my doorstep by the time I woke up. Mm-hmm. So, and then it finally got to the place it needed to by July 4th when we actually celebrate. So, I don't know. Today could be just as well our birthday.
Yeah. Sure. Let's go with that. I'm in. I'm down. I agree. No questions.
So with that, we're going to celebrate by doing another patriotic one. We last year.
Yeah, last year. That's kind of strange to say.
Oh no, we didn't do a year ago yet. No, what was it? We did cut this part. It was when did we do God Bless?
Oh, that was November. That was Veterans Day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it?
I'm making things up. Yeah. So we have done one patriotic one before back in November. It's been a minute.
I think so.
And so we spent a lot of time talking about like how we use political things as a Christian-based kind of mime thing. So we went into all that. So kind of if you want to refer back to those, we don't need to repeat ourselves here. I'm proud to be America again, or something like that.
We need God in America again.
Yeah,
is that what you're saying?
Using all the mime songs that we've done. But we're here to talk about the mime song itself.
Yeah, and so if you want to know our opinions and any considerations for your own mime songs, keep that in mind for, like what we talked about last time, is mime songs in general when it comes to patriotic songs. We're not going to focus so much on that. We're focusing on this song in particular.
Right, but with our goals, talking about how does it achieve the goal of being a song that honors our military, honors America, hits kind of those goals, while also being a religious group.
Right. So the song was choreographed by Tess, Bloyer. Yeah, so this was, the video that we have right now is from 2009, so the song predates that. I don't know.
I did it 2003, it's been a hot minute.
Yeah, so
I'm over 20 years old.
Right, like this was, I think, a song that I did maybe my first or second year.
It's a classic.
In the fall, because, we had a lot of things going on, and near Veterans Day, there was always some debacle of huge, they loved patriotic songs in Branson. So that was the thing that we did. And, at the time I kind of like this song. So it's going to be interesting to go back on the nostalgia and see that from one of the earliest songs I ever did.
Yeah, I've done a lot of teaching and practicing of this song, getting people to march and step. But anyway, I don't want to spoil too much.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So, I never got this honor. I don't know if you ever did, but presenting right outside of the Washington, D.C. steps.
Yes, this was right in front of the
Lincoln Memorial, right?
Lincoln Memorial, yep.
Yeah. I thought it would be pretty cool to ever do that, but never got that chance. I never did a East Coast mission trip. Bummer. But I do love, nice solemn intro where it's just focused on this military stuff. I wonder if the music sounds a little off with the in post here.
It might be.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But it's just a very classic patriotic introduction. You have a lot of music to establish the scene of military people, so you're gonna, however many people you have to do this, walk, salute the flag, be done.
Yep. And this, I'll get into it a little bit later, but this is one of those kind of filler issues. Yeah. Because, granted, if you have, a really big team, I think this is a really fun kind of filler, because you got, this big, awesome people marching through and all this epic motion going on. But this is, a straight minute into the song we've done.
Yeah, basically. It's a 7-minute song, and it's really interesting. Also, if you don't know this story ahead of time, I don't feel like this story tells all of it. It's very artful, but not... You kind of already have to know the story.
It's true.
So, as far as a mime song, I don't mind the introduction because it establishes some kind of military thing. But then you kind of have, a signer instead of... You could be miming all of this, for instance. I would... you kind of have him stepping out, which is cool. You get that highlight, but all of those things probably could have been mimed in some way instead of just a signer.
Right. And like this whole speech intro feels like it's a, kind of establishing the rest of the song. And
Right.
It does have like a really interesting little story of good old Jeremiah there.
Right. Well, and it's a real moment in history where he gave that speech. Watched him come out, POW and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have been really interesting to demonstrate some of that significance of him coming up. Maybe people anticipating him coming, getting
maybe a little bit of
ready.
backstory or something like that being established.
Right. Rather than I don't mind the military intro. That there were probably similar things there. But I also love. Then this is just the music, but you kind of get the end of the story and then you go back to the beginning. No, I've seen this with a few more people where you actually have a whole family, but I think you still catch the gist of it. I also think it's interesting you have the ones in the military with the vests and all the ones like the family not in it without the vest. I don't know about you. The vests were cool. I felt like it was a really difficult prop to hold on to.
It was. So I don't know what you guys had, but ours, it was like an apron.
Yeah.
So you put it over your neck and then tie it like with Velcro.
We did that initially, and then we went through all the hassle of sewing them, so you actually had a vest that you put on with Velcro or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always felt like a hassle to take them on and off. But I do love this part. It actually gets into some miming rather than just signing a chorus.
Yep. Yeah, this is probably in my opinion, the best part of the song. Gets the good visuals of the actions and
right, the actual possibly what it looked like to be a POW. Mm-hmm. This does feel a little signed a song where it's like his body was broken. Let's do arbitrary beating him up. I don't know if anyone did the history because I have no idea like where he was. The story, the song doesn't say so. So I don't know, some level of background would have been interesting here.
Mm-hmm. Now this I always thought was really interesting. Like instead of just signing, it's signing while bound, which kind of gives like an interesting effect because you got the trope of doing sign language, and we even had the chorus happen previously, and then now we have Jeremiah with his bound hands trying to do the signs.
It was an honor to serve when he joined, and he would still say it's an honor to serve even in the midst of it. Has a little persecution tropes that you could almost tie into if you really wanted to. This is just like Jesus. No.
now we're just allegorizing.
Yeah, it also doesn't have, and this isn't the mime necessarily, it's the song. It doesn't have any of the historical thing, why he was freed, why he was captured for so long. Again, it all assumes that. I don't know how you fix that in a mime, but it's just difficult to portray. And this is a historic speech, and so it is cool to see the picturesque nature of it before everybody coming out to a big chorus.
Yep. And I think that this is like the perfect time for that speech, as opposed to at the very beginning with
yes.
Who was that talking? Is that
I don't remember.
I don't know. A president. A certain president talking. I'll add that in post to correct myself. I feel like at the beginning having some establishing stuff, and then here having that monumental speech.
Right, it has that climax of the music too. But then we're talking about the music more than the mime. Yeah. It is a dramatic song, which helps that if the mime is so-so, it still hits. Yeah. Then we get the classic, you're going to march and sign at the same time. It's not very many songs that we still do that. One, it's difficult, but two, it's just we don't do as much sign.
Also, you'll notice that this is stepping marching as opposed to mime walk marching.
Correct. Yeah. And
which is way easier. That's all I'm saying.
It is. It's still coordination.
Yeah, it's still coordination.
That the signs are also done in a rhythmic way rather than slowly. Yeah. It has that, I don't know, it does two choruses at the end, so it kind of has this little fade where on one sense the music is still good, you're still being carried, you're like, yeah, this is really cool to watch. On the other hand, it doesn't build enough for me.
Yeah, I feel like the first chorus maybe would be okay, but then have something to develop on, or vice versa.
Yeah, and it's hard to say what you would do in that. I also felt like this ending always felt more picturesque than like
practical
or like I don't know. It's interesting.
I don't know.
I've seen a couple different ways.
I don't hate this outro, but it does drag on.
No, I've also seen the outro where you have them just go into two lines and then they walk down the middle. But it's all again the same thing. It's just cool military pictures, which is fine. But again, why do they like salute and then walk around and then salute again? That's
because it's supposed to look cool, Samuel.
Keep doing the cool things. It's the trope.
Yeah.
So that's our song. You've heard a lot of our thoughts in it, so we're not going to take forever. Things, purpose, and message.
Yeah. So obviously, patriotic song.
Yeah.
So this is now we've talked a little bit about it. So just brief touch on the things that are relevant. So this is a good type of song to kind of open doors for doing evangelism in like America themed things. So July 4th, the day coming up in 2 days, presentations surrounding July 4th and Independence Day and stuff like that are wonderful for this. It opens a door for us. Veterans Day, I've done plenty of presentations around Veterans Day that, you open the door with honoring veterans and then you get the opportunity to present the gospel. Those are those kinds of purposes that this allows us to do as a ministry.
Yep. I don't know how you would do it well. I would want to find a transition in that to make sure that the gospel is clear. Our goal isn't solely to honor America, as though that is something that we both believe in. It's just that the gospel is so much more important that we don't want to use our time at our outreaches just talking about America. We want to make sure that we're talking about the things that eternally matter. Right. So the one option I've seen is you do a couple patriotic songs and then you switch into your serious songs and it just feels kind of jarring. I would want to figure out a way to make a song that talks about like maybe real social political issues and talks about how Jesus is the answer for that. Kind of like how Where Were You was a song that worked towards that end. Check out last week's episode.
I have no comment.
Regardless of that song, it would be to that end where maybe you hit on issues that are happening in America real time and then pivot to some ways of saying how you kind of create the need in people's eyes and be like, yeah, that is kind of a problem. We should address that. And then instead of addressing it in normal solutions, maybe you show the faultiness of maybe a humanist mindset and saying how you do need a divine answer for it and transition to the gospel. Haven't written any songs like that, but it's been into my mind today.
Yeah, no, there's several ideas that I kind of totally agree with that, where the socio-political kind of issues, such as I was thinking of This Is God, that one song, kind of envision that as being like modern relevancy to societal issues, and then of course presenting Jesus as the answer. And I think that's really like an interesting approach, because it's not like, presenting a Bible song, like a, Bible story song. Instead, it's something relevant to today, which has a more natural transition. That's what I would do.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But I totally agree with what you're saying. Like that would be a practical way.
But say songs that lean towards that end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So things that this song does well, because it's patriotic, does a lot of marching, does a lot of like clear military type things that people who are either in the military, I think, would be honored by. Like, yes, like that's what we do.
Yep.
Represents them well.
Oh yeah, like the images, the pictures, the moments of like seriousness and drama that it represents. I think it does really well, even with what I would argue are some filler moments. Still gives that like that moment of like, yeah, this is it. This is the good stuff.
Fun story with this one. When we presented this back in the day for an American Legion, one of the guys in the audience was apparently this guy's cousin, and like it actually, somewhat ties a relationship, and told me the whole story. I was like, that's really cool. It's not just a thing that's in the song or some history thing, but it's recent enough that people are, still alive that remember that.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I alluded to while we were talking about is my favorite part is probably that middle section, like, the second act blues. This one actually has like the only thing that it knocks out of the park is its second act.
It's like, establishing long time establishing. It's like, oh, this is interesting. And then establishing.
Yeah, that's kind of where it goes. It's like the anti second act blues. So
that's interesting.
What we ended up,
the second act reds,
the second act, what's the opposite of blue? It would be like,
instead of being melancholy, you're excited.
Well, okay, so the opposite of blue would be purple.
No, it would be red.
No, it would be, sorry.
Red versus blue, man.
Green, because it's...
On the color wheel.
Wait, no, I'm stupid. Red and yellow together is orange. I'm dumb.
Orange would be the opposite,
so
correct.
The red, these are the second act oranges. Wow, that took way too long to establish that joke.
Well, actually, okay, so make you do some research here. Color theory. While that is theoretically true on the
primaries and secondaries,
right? If you actually look at like complementary colors, it has like an arc through different colors, because color's weird. Whether it's light or whether it's pigment, it has two different types of things. You know, like in light, black darkness is the absence of all light, but in pigment color, black is like all of the colors. And opposite with white is no colors, but white is all the colors in light. And so when you see the lines, like there's this curve, Charleton, we'll show you the chart and how it curves. So on the screen you'll see the true opposite of blues, and that'll be our second act somethings.
Yeah, our second act.
It's probably going to be orange-ish, but it might be a little lighter than that.
Yeah. Sure.
So anyway,
go with that. Anyway, so bringing it back around.
You didn't think you'd learn about color wheel theory?
Yeah,
this podcast. We go deep.
We got education up in here.
So bad.
Yeah, but yeah. So I really like the establishment of that. I think what I would like to do with this song is more of that.
Yes.
Like at the very beginning, I think we
could act. Yeah, let's talk about critiques.
Yeah, let's talk about critiques. Right, it's the perfect time.
Yeah, at the beginning you need more mime. At the end you need more mime. There's so many opportunities for mime here.
I look at the middle section and I go, more of that, please.
Yes.
Because the way that I envision fixing this song, which we kind of alluded to, so I won't go too much into it, is the beginning part with the president giving his speech. You could totally have that same scene, but then on the other side, maybe have like what happened to Jeremiah. He, he was in the middle of battle. He's maybe wounded on the ground, and he tries to fire his gun and it's empty, and a couple of people grab him and, throw him into prison or something like that.
Right.
And then that's where he is then initially established. And then it fast forwards to him being freed, put on the plane, and then coming out of the plane and saluting it. You can
you can almost like repeat. It'd actually be cool to see, we mimed it at the beginning, and then when you come back out, like it shows him like in the helicopter somehow doing helicopter technique, and then coming in the runway and be like, oh wait, we're back to the same scene again. Yeah, that'd be a really cool moment.
We start at the end and then rewind to the beginning, and then meet at that point. And maybe I think that'd be kind of neat.
Right, you're talking like maybe instead of you doing the course and just signing it, honor to serve, you show him like training through the ranks of the military somehow, doing a couple push-ups, because that would be fun to make people do that.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I like the way you think.
Torture them. But the idea being is we're establishing, this is not just like anybody hearing the call, like, he's join the, I can't remember whatever branch he did. You could have some fun historical moments to that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where I would say it should have gone. And I feel like if we were to try to redeem this song, that's the direction I would go. Yeah, and then at the very end, even that part where it's just him coming down and signing and giving like a speech, I feel like that at that moment has so much more punch.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then it's like, have this person. Yeah, you have this history. You got this person coming down through all this torment and persecution as in the middle of war. And then he comes down and then he gives this rousing speech, and everyone is excited to hear it, because it's like, wow, we hear this guy's story, and now we hear this guy's thoughts himself, and it's like, wow, that's amazing. I feel like that would be.
I'd almost then say, I don't know, I'd have to play around more ideas, but how we had the sign language course of It's an Honor to Serve by himself in chains. So get rid of the first course with everybody, do the ones with him in chains. Then when they repeat the two courses at the end, the first one of those is just him at the podium saying It's an Honor to Serve.
And then everyone joins.
Joins.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah. See, you can develop.
You can do this. See, you can totally do this.
So very redeemable. The benefit of old songs with patriotic stuff is it doesn't matter, because most of patriotic stuff is songs from like 100, 200 years ago anyway. So, and that's fine. That's part of how the military keeps its consistency. Everything sounds the same. Nothing changes, for better or worse.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it doesn't matter if it sounds a little dated. It actually sounds military-like, and so it works for this song, regardless.
Yeah.
Theologically, we're not going to cover that. There's nothing to cover here.
Theologically, this doesn't really have much about the gospel.
Gospel, God, there's no angel. No demons showed up just because, like,
Yeah, I mean, that's a plus. The solution wasn't because Bible, and the problem wasn't because demons.
Yeah, exactly. So this song's better than a bunch of other songs because of that theologically. So let's rate it. Clarity, difficulty, and
smile. Oh, yeah.
Style.
Mash that like, subscribe. You thought I forgot, didn't? Oh, wait, we're not
there yet.
Point. Sorry.
So
I take that back. Rewind.
In sign language, we had this big debate of whether we should sign honor like this or honor like that, because the sign for honor is this way, but this would be like relevant to if it's an honor to God or an honor to state. So that actually falls back into the theological camp.
Ooh,
that was a hot debate I remember us having if we sign honor like this, because it's supposed to be not just an honor to your country, but an honor to God, to be a soldier in America, and I'd say don't do that. It's just an honor. It's fine. It would be very confusing for anyone. Anyway.
Yeah, I feel like that would be missed pretty heavily by a lot of audiences.
It'd be like the few deaf people in the audience, and then even then it'd be like, oh, why are they doing it that way? They were doing it wrong.
Yeah, probably.
So clarity, difficulty, style. Clarity, the song carries it a little much. I feel like it's unclear because I don't know much more of the story other than what the song already told me. And the song doesn't go into much historical detail. Right.
Yeah, I feel like that's where my issue comes in, is like if you took away the music, this is kind of where our clarity standard is.
You get a guy who went and joined them. He's probably military.
Yeah, you kind of get the military aspect. You get that maybe he was thrown in jail, and then people are excited.
He got free.
He got free, and then people are excited. Yeah, so you kind of get like, okay, so there was a story of military, somebody getting in prison, somebody leaving.
It's there.
There's a base level message, but the nuance and the detail that is so important for this particular message completely missed.
I'm gonna give it a 4.
4? I was gonna give it like a 5.
Yeah.
So
it's fine.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have punch. I think that's the hard part.
That's true.
And that message is relatively on the simple side. Guy gets called, captured, freed. People are excited.
Yeah.
And again, the relevance of this and why it all mattered.
Yeah.
Style. It has a few moments.
You mean difficulty?
Yeah. This is difficult to remember. See, got him.
Or was the style that we're doing it second and we're just throwing everybody off?
I have no idea anymore. I'm lost. I need more coffee.
Me too. I don't drink coffee though, so
I should have just splashed it in here. It's a little too hot.
Wow, I'm so glad that's what you think of me.
Difficulty. Okay. On the base level, not actually that difficult, but if you want to do a military song well to the degree that it would honor people in the military, you actually have to do the steps and do the salutes well.
Yes, it's a form over theology. We'll
exactly.
Say.
Yes, or like things to memorize. Not that many things. You have to memorize the chorus. You got to do it with step, and go do a line here, do a line here. Like if you background people, take except for technique. So I'm only going to give the difficulty a 6 because the technique is that important to the song. Otherwise, the choreography and things are mild.
Yeah, I get
it's like hard
the importance
the
of it. Yeah, because I totally 100% agree that importance-wise, there are very specific things that need to be hit. Otherwise, it's like disrespectful in some regard.
Right. If I didn't have to worry about that, the difficulty would be like 2 or 3-ish.
Yeah, I was leaning like toward a 3, but I'm gonna go 4 just because I feel like the importance of it is probably really important. Granted, like the coordination with signing and walking at the same time is difficult.
Yeah,
but you just need to grind that.
Yeah.
Like once you get the signs down, the signs are honestly pretty easy.
Yeah, it's repeatable, memorable, whatever.
Yeah. And then the walking in tune with that, like it's just a matter of practice. You got to grind it out. And once you get that down, everything else is pretty easy.
Part of when we say difficulty is just that, right? How much time would it take a teacher to teach a team this song? Yeah. And if the team is even like a few people that don't know flag, like how to hold the flag technique or how to salute properly, like all those things are going to be taking up time at practice.
Sure.
Part of the difficulty.
Yep.
And style, it's fine. It has cool moments. I like the first heard the call. It has some timing there. The style of the chains, right? I don't know if this is the first song that did the sign language while bound.
I don't know.
We have a couple other songs that have used similar things, whether it's pure sign language or just the guy had to stay bound and talking the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how to rate it. What do you think?
I don't know. I kind of get stuck because style-wise, it's
an older song, so it gets a little gross.
Yeah, of course. But like thinking about how it would be received style-wise, because the audience would typically be like veterans or people in the military, those moments of like structure and hardcore, bombastic face punch,
exactly.
bonanza, I don't know, is like I feel like those would be a lot more significant, a lot more meaningful. So it gets a couple of points in that regard for being like the style meets its audience in a very, very specific way.
But at the same time, we talked about all these ideas of how to get that style, like, soaring up into the 7-8 range.
So as much as I'm pushing it up really as much as I can, I give it like a 6.
I was going to give it a 5.
Yeah.
So it's right cruising in the middle there.
Yeah.
It has so much potential if we were to ever bring this back.
Yeah.
But you tell us what you think down below in the comments if you did this song, or if you have other video of you guys presenting on the DC steps. I've seen different random videos. I just can't find them. So
yeah. No, and I'd like to clarify that I do like this song genuinely, even though maybe the grades that we give it are a little bit on the lower side.
Well, it's potential when we have these cool ideas.
It's got so much stuff going on. Yeah, that it's got a lot of potential, got a lot of things that you can do with it to make it better. So if you are out there and you want to do a cool rendition of this song, we literally just gave you ideas for how to make it better. Take it, run with it. Send us a video. I'd love to see it. So.
Yeah, that'd be great. So that all?
That's it.
Yeah, we mashed that like subscribe already. So
yeah,
cool. I'm Samuel.
And I'm Charleton.
Breaking the line.